My dad always said trust was a luxury we couldn't afford, but I never thought he'd be the one to prove it. I found out he was sleeping with my boss's wife on a Tuesday, when the world still felt normal, and by Friday I was jobless, staring at a cardboard box of my desk trinkets. Life doesn't just unravel, it detonates. I'm Ethan, 27, a graphic designer at Pinnacle Advertising. Or at least I was until my world imploded. My dad, Greg, is a charming, silver-haired mechanic who could talk a snake into buying shoes. He raised me alone after mom left when I was 6, always preaching resilience with a grin that hid his own scars. We were tight, or so I thought, two guys against the world, sharing beers and bad puns over Sunday football. But secrets have a way of rewriting history. It started with whispers at work. Pinnacle was a pressure cooker, led by Victor Grayson, a 40-something ad mogul with a smile sharper than a razor. His wife, Lila, was the kind of beautiful that stopped conversations blonde, poised, with eyes that promised trouble. She'd drop by the office sometimes, all charm and designer heels, and I'd catch her lingering glances at the younger guys, including me. I ignored it. I had a job to keep and a girlfriend, Sarah, who deserved better than my wandering eyes. Then came the office party, a glitzy affair at Victor's penthouse. Dad tagged along because he loved a free bar and a chance to network. I was busy pitching ideas to a client when I saw him across the room, laughing with Lila, their heads too close, her hand brushing his arm. I brushed it off. Dad was a flirt, always had been. But later, when I went looking for him, I found them in the hallway, her lips on his hands pulling her closer. My stomach churned. I slipped away before they saw me, but the image burned into my brain. I didn't confront him that night. I couldn't. Sarah was waiting at home, and I needed her calm to anchor me. But the next day, I cornered Dad at his garage, grease on his hands, that same damn grin on his face. "What the hell? Dad," I spat. "Lila Grayson. She's married to my boss." He didn't even flinch. "Ethan, relax," he said, wiping his hands. "It's just a fling. Nobody's getting hurt." I wanted to scream that he was wrong, that I was already collateral damage, but I just walked away, my trust in him cracking like old paint. Weeks passed, and I kept my mouth shut, hoping it would fizzle out. But Lila started showing up at Dad's garage, her convertible parked brazenly out front. I'd see her through the office window, laughing as she leaned into him, and I'd feel Victor's eyes on me, cold and calculating. He couldn't know. Could he? But Victor was sharp, the kind of man who smelled weakness like a shark smells blood. My work, once praised, started getting nitpicked. Deadlines tightened. My designs were uninspired. I was drowning, and Sarah noticed. "You're not yourself, Ethan," she said one night, her brown eyes searching mine. I wanted to tell her everything, but shame kept me silent. Then the bomb dropped. Lila was pregnant. I overheard it in the break room. Two co-workers gossiping over coffee. Victor's furious. One says it's not his. My heart stopped. I knew, deep down, it was Dad's. I drove to his place that night, rage boiling over. "Is it true?" I demanded. He didn't deny it. "Ethan, I didn't plan this," he said, his voice softer than I'd ever heard. "Lila and it got out of hand. But I'm not sorry. I love her." Love, the word hit like a slap. "What about me?" I shouted. "Victor's gunning for me because of you." Dad just looked at me, his eyes heavy. "You'll land on your feet. Kid, you always do." That was it. No apology, no remorse, just the same old faith in my resilience, like it excused everything. The next day, Victor called me into his office. His face was a mask, but his voice dripped venom. "You're out, Ethan," he said, tossing my termination letter across the desk. "Your performance has been subpar, and frankly, I don't trust you." I wanted to scream that it wasn't my fault, that my dad's betrayal wasn't mine, but the words stuck. I grabbed my things and left, the office's fluorescent lights burning my pride to ash. Sarah was my lifeline. When I told her, she held me, her warmth the only thing keeping me from falling apart. "We'll figure this out," she said, but I could hear the strain in her voice. She was a teacher, barely making enough for herself, and now I was a burden. I spent days on the couch, staring at job boards, my confidence shredded. Dad called once, leaving a voicemail. "Ethan, let's talk. I'm still your dad." I deleted it. He'd chosen Lila over me, over our bond, and I wasn't ready to forgive. But the story didn't end there. Lila left Victor, moving into a sleek apartment Dad couldn't possibly afford. I saw them once, at a coffee shop, her hand on her belly, him beaming like a man reborn. It twisted something in me: jealousy, maybe, or just grief for the dad I thought I knew. Victor, meanwhile, was unraveling. Rumors spread that Pinnacle was tanking, his focus shot. I felt a sick satisfaction, then guilt for feeling it. Nobody wins in a mess like this. Months later, I landed a freelance gig, small but enough to keep the lights on. Sarah and I were planning to move in together, a step toward rebuilding. Then Dad showed up at my door, unannounced, holding a photo of a newborn girl. "Her name's Ellie," he said, his voice thick with pride. "Your sister." I stared at the picture, at her tiny, innocent face, and felt a rush of conflicting emotions: anger, love, confusion. "You think this fixes anything?" I asked. He sighed, looking older than I'd ever seen him. "I messed up, Ethan. I know, but I'm trying to do right by her. And you," I wanted to believe him, but trust doesn't rebuild overnight. We talked for hours that night, the first real conversation since it all blew up. He told me about Lila's loneliness in her marriage, how he'd felt alive with her in a way he hadn't in years. I told him about the job loss, the humiliation, the way his choices had ripple effects. He listened, really listened, and for the first time, I saw regret in his eyes. "I never meant to hurt you," he said. "I just got lost." I didn't forgive him, not fully, but I didn't hate him either. Families are messy, and love doesn't erase mistakes, but it can make room for healing. Ellie's existence changed things. I met her a few weeks later, this tiny bundle who didn't ask for any of this. Holding her, I felt a spark of something new: hope, maybe, or responsibility. She was my sister, and that meant something. Lila was kinder than I'd expected, her confidence softened by motherhood. Victor, I heard, had moved on, selling Pinnacle and starting over in another city. We were all picking up pieces, trying to make sense of the wreckage. Life's not a movie where everything ties up neatly. I'm still freelancing, still rebuilding trust with Dad, still learning what family means when it's broken and remade. Sarah's my rock, reminding me that love is choosing someone even when it's hard. And Ellie, she's a reminder that new beginnings can come from chaos. If you let them, what do you think? Who's right? Who's wrong? Can you forgive when trust is shattered, or is some damage too deep? Share your thoughts, because stories like this don't have easy answers. And